Hey guys, this is Isaiah from Frankfurt, Germany. This is a support video for people that walk process about vocabulary. Because I see the speed up if you can actually fully grasp the concept of vocabulary. And it's something that took me a very long time to fully grasp, and I'm sure there's still dimensions to it that I'm not seeing yet. But I just want to share that which I've learned about it, and maybe it will help one of you guys. If you think about vocabulary, if you are walking process, you certainly have seen or heard about the brick wall of understanding and how we build our understanding and our thought through the words we know. But vocabulary is more than only words. Vocabulary is also experiences. They're just tied to this folder. Let's say a word is a folder, they're just tied to this folder of a word. And when you are walking through situations, you certainly know this feeling of, you just feel some sort of anxiety, you feel unwell. It's like you want to get out of your skin and it's just uncomfortable. Maybe your stomach hurts, maybe you just feel uneasy about yourself. Or irritated, agitated, something like that. The likelihood is very high that you're not processing something. So it shows you that something is not correct with your vocabulary. Because if you were to understand the situation and process it, you would not have these reactions. So all these emotional reactions are just a problem of wrong vocabulary. So let's say you're confronted with a new situation. You're building a business, you're building a relationship, and you've the programming of not being able to do that because maybe your parents divorced and you were broke. So whenever you push through out of the comfort zone of your vocabulary, of the things that you already know, that's your vocabulary, then you feel this discomfort because your mind is trying to process what is happening around you. And if you're not able to understand it, you're gonna get into this discomfort. So that you physically do everything to go back into what you know so that you can understand things. Because the way our mind is built, it always wants to understand things. That's why it's so hard to also break out of our pre-programmed design and our pre-programmed vocabulary that we have. Because we've been designed a certain way by our environment, also by genetics. And if we get out of that caste, if we see it like societal caste, like let's say I come from the under middle class or lower class, let's say it like that. If I want to go to the middle class, there's gonna be so many situations that I'm not gonna be able to understand and process because I've never experienced them in my childhood or from my family background. So me going into that area of society, dealing with all the norms, like the way of behaving, the way of thinking, the way of how to react with your emotions, I don't know any about this. So whenever I'm challenging myself to go into this direction, it's gonna be so difficult to push through that because everything in my entire system is made like a huge firewall to bring me back, to make me feel super uncomfortable, to bring me back to where I started from, which is in the lower end. So whenever I'm breaking out, I'm not understanding the things, so it's hard to, because I don't have the vocabulary, so it's hard to get out of it. So obviously if you walk in process, if you have taken a tutor, that's no problem. And there's no point in judging this at all because it's just what it is. It's just a process that it takes time to walk through. However, if you find yourself constantly being in an emotional state, let's say you're always worrying, you're depressed, you're angry, you're upset, you're sad, you're in fear, it shows you that you're not understanding something. It shows you that your vocabulary is in some way being challenged. And you either have to expand it or redefine it. So you have to see what are the words that are limiting me right now. And you will feel it if you do a writing, if you write out everything that is within you and you just look at and you just reread it, you will see and feel which words cause a slight irritation in you. And it's also a question of training. The more you do it, the more sensitive you become to it, the more easy it will be for you to detect those words. And those are the words you want to work with, because those are the words that are either integrated incorrectly, because you might have the wrong definition of it, or you have an emotional charge with it. Let's say we have this folder of words, of our word, and we have a lot of negative experiences made with that word, and they're all stored in the folder. So we need to release that charge through writing self-forgiveness, right? Or it means that you maybe not have a word. So a framework that helped me that supports me a lot at the moment is to ask myself, okay, so I'm reacting to something. I don't understand how the situation works. I don't understand why I'm reacting. I write everything down that makes me react. And then I see, okay, what are the words that I'm having? I read the definition of the words that I'm reacting to. And then I can already see if I have them defined in the wrong or the right way. Or maybe there's a memory coming up. And when they're stored in the wrong way, which happens very often, then I go to ChatGPT and I describe the situation to ChatGPT. And I'm writing, hey ChatGPT, I am thinking X, Y, Z about this word. That's how I define it. I see that a situation or a definition that would make sense would be a different one. Can you please elaborate or explain to me how this word actually is supposed to work, or how this word actually is supposed to be lived out? So when I have this, ChatGPT will give me a lot of context, and sometimes I might even have to ask 2 or 3 times until it becomes clear, but sooner or later I will find the right answer, and I will find what the word that I'm using to build my thoughts with actually is supposed to mean. So then I can fix it. The whole fixing process is a different process. You gotta use Technic-Tutor, but because without it it's just impossible. But other than that, it's just understand the vocabulary. Vocabulary is experiences you've been making. Vocabulary is all the information you know. It's not only words. So if you have any question about it, just shoot me a message. I'm happy to share my framework with you, or I'm happy to give more support on that. Just reach out, or don't hesitate about it.